The SEC is cannibalizing itself. The ACC is so unbelievably confusing. The Big Ten is on Peacock, so I don't even know anything about them. And the Big 12 is really good, but they're human, and I think their top seeds might lose in March. And I guess if there is no one home, I should start this episode by saying something like, "What the?" But I'm not gonna do that. Okay, I would never do that. This is a family show, so. The big game last night, Michigan versus Purdue, streaming only on Peacock. So, yeah, the just the worst situation ever. It's a 1 versus 7 matchup. It's the game everyone wants to watch that day. Can't watch it if I wanted to. And I'm not going to spend a mortgage on another streaming service. We have enough. Put everything on the same streaming service. There's too many. There's way too many. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not even kidding. I couldn't watch the game. So there's no eye test involved with the following analysis here. I'm going off of box score. I'm going off of Twitter. So I apologize in advance for what is probably going to be a horrendous takeaway about this game. But what it seemed like when you go look at the stats and what people are saying, what it boiled down to was Michigan 56% from three. I believe Purdue was about 31% from three-point land. Michigan had 6 guys in double figures. So they're shooting it well. They're spreading the wealth. Purdue not able to do that. I think Trey Kaufman-Renn and Braden Smith, like, not surprisingly, picked up most of the slack, but they lose by 11 in a game that wasn't, it was like an 11-point game the whole time. I think they had a double-digit lead for probably 13 out of the 20 minutes of this game. But this begs the question, and the graphic is probably already on the screen. Can anyone beat Michigan? This was a game where, other than the people that don't have Peacock, eyes were finally on Michigan playing a really good basketball team. Maybe overrated at number 7, Purdue was, perhaps, perhaps. But nonetheless, Michigan beats a really good team. And I think it cemented the opinion everyone had where it was like, okay, Michigan is a wagon. This is a Final Four lock. Who's going to go beat them? Right? Can it be that top four that's kind of doing a round robin on Saturday? Well, not a round robin at all. They're just playing each other. Michigan, Duke, Arizona, Houston. Can it be one of those teams? Can Illinois get hot offensively and go take them down? What about an Iowa State with, for my estimation, maybe 2 All-Americans on that team? Could it be Florida, a team I also think has about 2 All-Americans? I mean, if it was up to me, they have about 6, right? Could it be a Florida team that gets out in transition well, can take advantage of the turnovers that Michigan has, which is really Michigan's only gripe? They turn it over and they don't force turnovers the way some might like. But Dusty May coaching his butt off, took FAU to a Final Four. Now he's doing this at Michigan. And Michigan was down in the dumps a few years ago, but really an epic turnaround. And they've already turned this team into a team where we ask this question, who can beat this team? I mean, I think they've already proved, obviously, they're on an 11-game win streak. They can win 6 in a row in March. There's a lot of really, really good basketball teams, but they haven't proved that they can go win 6 in a row. They haven't gone 6 games without having a no-show. A lot of teams in the SEC are like that. Kentucky will go win a big one, lose to Georgia at home. Alabama will go score 105, but then get beat by 25, right? Big 12 also has cannibalized itself a little bit. A lot of good teams in there, but they're all beating each other. Everyone in the SEC is beating each other. So Big Ten really competitive. A lot of teams beating each other, except for Michigan is winning everything. So this is the first team where you really have to ask yourself, is this team gonna lose in March? We're not entirely sure. Um, but yeah, fun to watch. I wouldn't know. Streaming only on Peacock, so I wouldn't know. But allegedly, Michigan, very fun to watch. Okay, let's move ahead towards Saturday before we go back to last night. Saturday, we have a de facto regular season Final Four matchup. Teams we could see late in March. Michigan takes on Duke, and then Arizona takes on Houston. Frankly, I'm not entirely sure why Michigan and Duke are playing in the middle of the conference basketball schedule. Um, I'll figure that out. Um, but Michigan takes on Duke. Michigan 2.5 point favorites here. And I believe this game is happening in Washington, D.C. Had to make sure I was recording there for a second. Michigan favored by 2.5. I think Duke's really good. I would take Cam Boozer first overall if I was drafting somebody because I'm a high floor guy, right? High ceilings scare me, high floors don't. But Cam Boozer and Gongba, even the other Boozer has been playing well. But Duke talent-wise, well, talent-wise, they have the most talent in the nation. But they match up talent-wise to Michigan. They've been playing really, really well. The ACC is another conference where everyone's beating everyone except for Duke. The SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12 kinda all have one team on top of the standings and then everyone else is just beating each other. Like Florida's the only team in the SEC that's not really getting beat. Same with Duke in the ACC, Michigan in the Big Ten. So this is a battle. This is almost an ACC versus Big Ten challenge here. It's a 1 versus 3 matchup, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun because both of these teams have not relinquished control of a game since whenever the last time they lost. Even Arizona and Houston have been on the ropes plenty of times, I feel recently, more so than Michigan or Duke has. So to me, Michigan Duke, this would be a 1-2 matchup if I was ranking teams, and then Arizona Houston would be a 3-4. But I mean, it's a tough game to predict because do you say, hey, I'm going to go with the most talented team in the nation in Duke with the player of the year, and they haven't lost in forever? Well, no, they actually did just lose to North Carolina. Um, but they're playing well. The most talented team in the nation is playing well and has the best player in the nation. How do you pick against that? But then you have the best team in the nation that's on an 11 game win streak that does everything well. How do you pick against that? Seems like two teams you just don't want to pick against. And it's unbelievably difficult to even pick a winner here. And it's a neutral site game. So you can't even go with the home team. But I mean, yeah. I think I psyched myself even more saying it like that. Do you pick Michigan, the best team in the nation, 11 game win streak, playing well, ranked number one, does everything well? Or do you pick Duke, the most talented team in the nation with the best player in the nation, that's that's also playing well and it's on a neutral court? I don't know. I don't know. I think you default to the team that's favored by 2.5 and you go with Michigan. But I mean, no one quote me on this. All right, let's get to Arizona, Houston. Two teams that are human, right? Obviously, Michigan and Duke have both lost this year, but feels like those two are on another level. I think Arizona and Houston are human. Okay. I think Arizona has two All-American guards, and then Koa Pete at forward is prone to have a great game every now and then, like he did against Florida, whatever. And then Houston has Kingston Flemings, a freshman guard who's just a stud. Um, and Houston's going to play defense really, really well. But to me, whatever. It's two games I don't know how to predict. And I feel bad saying like whatever, but these are just the four best teams going at it. And it's going to be whoever shoots it better, which I think Arizona might shoot it better, but it could also be who takes advantage and creates more mistakes. That could be Houston, right? And this one is in, ooh, where is this game though? Because I'll tell you what, that if I'm stuck, then that's going to be the difference. It's in Houston. Yeah, give me Houston. Give me Houston just because I've watched Arizona play a few times and I know they're really good, but they're capable of losing, which is something I honestly don't think Michigan and Duke are. Somehow someone has to lose that game. Um, but yeah, I think Houston's going to play really good defense, and you have to stop Jaden Bradley and Braden Burries, however you say that last name. And it's two really good guards, but I think the backcourts match up well. I think you have the size and athleticism to stop two guards. And to me, if I'm a coach, I'm not as scared of Koa Pete as I was maybe earlier this year. I'm not as terrified of that Arizona front court as maybe I was. Who's that other cat they have though? Krivas and Tobe Awaka. Oh yeah. And these are like they're both of these guys are like 1,000,000 feet tall too. Okay, I knew they had that white guy Krivas' unit, and then Tobe Awaka. Well, Krivas is just ginormously tall, and then Tobe Awaka is just like a brick house. Um, well, God, I don't know. Arizona's 8-2 in their last two. They lost two in a row, did they not? Man, guys, I'm learning as we go. I'm be honest. Yeah, they lost to Kansas and Texas Tech in a row, and they have an absolute gauntlet. They're only gonna have 2 days of rest. Then they go to Houston. I mean, I think you give me Houston. I think you give me Houston in this one. Boys, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not too deep in my bag right now, but Saturday's gonna be elite. It's gonna be so elite. Okay, let's get more into my bag, which is SEC basketball. Georgia beats Kentucky at Rupp Arena. I believe that was the first time since 2009 that that happened. And is the SEC just killing itself? Florida is the best team in the SEC, and it's not really close. But outside of that, Arkansas has lost a few. Kentucky is sometimes good and sometimes terrible. Kentucky's never just okay. They can never just be okay. They have to be really good or they have to be really bad. And then you have so many teams in the SEC that are beating each other. You got upsets, you got favorites dominating, whatever dynamic it is. SEC teams are beating each other. There's like 1,000,000 8-5 teams or 8-4 teams in the SEC. You got the 7-5s and the sixes and the 6-7s. You got 4-8s, and it's a lot of teams beating each other. But the problem is it's a lot of like 8 and 9 seeds beating each other. And the more they do that, like you lose a bid to March Madness every week if that trend keeps happening, which is not good for the SEC, which is why I say this to you is that it is actually more healthy for a conference to have like tiers of teams that like tier one is just really good and just beats everyone until they play each other. And tier two is solid, but they just lose to these teams up here. Can't really cross the mountain or jump the whatever. And then you have this third level, which is like they're 500 and they're just really okay. And then you have the teams that everyone just beats up on that are bad. In these two tiers, need to make the conference tournament or not need to make March Madness. And some of these teams do too, like last year. But this year is that you have Florida and they have a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo, and all of these teams are going to eliminate each other from March Madness. And then the SEC doesn't look as good as it was last year, which frankly it's not. But it's killing itself and it's cannibalizing itself, and everyone's knocking each other out of a bid for the postseason. So I just think you need tiers, and you need teams to be really good and you need teams to be really bad. And a lot of teams that are just okay is not good. It's not good for the conference. It's good for entertaining basketball. So I'm okay with that because my team's up here. But if I was a fan of like the SEC, which like no one's a fan of a conference really. But if I was, I would be mad that Georgia beat Kentucky. I'd rather Kentucky just act like the 8-4 team that they are and beat the 5-7 Bulldogs. But they just refuse to do that. Um, okay, next, some ACC confusion, very similar to the SEC, just kind of confusing in a different way because it's not a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. It's just mumbo jumbo like right here with like the second place through the sixth place team. You have sort of the cycle of North Carolina, NC State, and Louisville, where I think North Carolina beat Louisville, but then Louisville crushed NC State. Yeah, North Carolina gets crushed by NC State without Caleb Wilson last night. Louisville beat a good NC State team by 41, but they have double-digit losses to SMU and Notre Dame. So in the SEC, it's cannibalization. In the ACC, it's just confusion. I couldn't really tell you what's going on. Like, I cannot get a good read on NC State and Louisville because Louisville will score 120 points on you if you're not careful, but they also lose by double digits seemingly every week. So I don't know how to treat a Louisville team. NC State lost by 41 to Louisville and went and crushed North Carolina. Now, granted, I'm giving North Carolina a pass because Caleb Wilson is probably the most valuable player in college basketball. Now, I understand that Cameron Boozer is going to win most outstanding player because he's probably the best player in the sport, but value to your team. North Carolina goes from a really good team with Caleb Wilson to not good at basketball without him. I mean, it's like the line, the Vegas would never do this, but truthfully, Caleb Wilson being out could realistically be like a 20-point difference for North Carolina. Because no one can, he averages 20, and when he's gone, no one can fill his shoes. So they literally might be 20 points worse without the guy. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, the ACC is confusing. Um, the SEC is cannibalizing itself. The ACC is so unbelievably confusing. The Big Ten is on Peacock, so I don't even know anything about them. And the Big 12 is really good, but they're human, and I think their top seeds might lose in March. Sue me for it. I don't know. All right. Last quick segment here. Yesterday, um, 11 ranked teams played. Only one of those was ranked on ranked, Michigan versus Purdue. And oh, knocked the camera over nearly. And 7 out of 11 ranked teams that played last night lost. And that's not great. Once this video replays, I'll tell you. But Florida handled business. Michigan State handled business. Michigan handled business. But then Purdue lost. And North Carolina got crushed. Miami, Ohio handled business. Louisville, double-digit loss to SMU. St. Louis lost to Rhode Island. Ohio State crushed Wisconsin. Nebraska lost to Iowa in a close one. And then Texas Tech lost in a stunner to Arizona State. Anarchy? Nope. Just college basketball. What a ridiculous night in the sport, but it makes it so fun, man. It makes it so much fun. Um, yeah, but what about Texas Tech though? They're gonna beat like the top five teams in the nation and then lose about seven times to unranked teams. They're just an absolute anomaly. It's I don't know what the comparison is. It's like prime. They can be prime Antonio Brown, but they can also be Cracker of the Year awards, Super CTE Antonio Brown. So Texas Tech is just confusing. I'm not entirely sure about them. However, we will see. If you're still here, I finally get my little charts of how often people watch, and it's like obviously if you watch it at everyone watches at the start, and then a lot of people click off, a lot of people click off, and then like no one's watching by the time we get right here. So if you're here, listen, I appreciate you tremendously. To the maybe handful of people that made it this far, check to see if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, turn your notifications on. You'll get notified every single time I post, and you can watch it immediately, which always helps. Leave a comment. Help me out if you even enjoyed it at all. I understand I got work to do. I gotta get better, but I'm working at it. I truly am. Um, we'll get Ed back on hopefully next week. We'll get Ed back on next week. Listen, if you watch it, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. I love you. Goodbye.